Microcasting for your city. Talkopolis.
Welcome to Music Business Daily. My name is Kelsey Manning. I'm your host. It is Tuesday, September the 11th, and we are going to get you started on everything that's hot in music business right now, starting with one of my favorite bands. And you know, they're one of a lot of people's favorite bands because they've been around quite a while. If you haven't heard the name Led Zeppelin, you are doing yourself an extreme disservice. Ask your dad, ask your cool older brother, pretty much ask anyone who's anyone because they are an awesome band. They have a mysterious countdown on their Facebook this week, and no one's really sure what it is. They're known for, obviously, their albums came out. They were called 1, 2, 3, 4, really creative naming conventions, but it's Led Zeppelin. They can do whatever they want. So they've had this backwards countdown using the same script they used with all of their albums on their Facebook, and it's looking like there's going to be some sort of announcement on Thursday. No one's really sure what it is. They're ruling out a tour, at least RollingStone.com says they are. I don't know. I would be excited if they had a tour in some way. You know, they're not all still really kicking right now, but it would be really cool if they were at least touring with something. But they think it's going to be, they're going to put out a new DVD chronicling their last reunion. So there's always a market, I think, for these things. I think when you've made such an impact, if you think about someone like Led Zeppelin, if you think about someone like the Beatles or Fleetwood Mac, they're always putting out different documentaries or different little snippets of what was going on. The Rolling Stones are putting out a new documentary as well. So this is kind of the era of these musicians as they're kind of releasing stuff, going back to the vault and picking out things that people are either not familiar with or people haven't heard in a while or re-releasing albums. So we'll see. I'm excited nonetheless. I'm always down to listen to more Led Zeppelin. So, this is kind of like a reminder this week that I should just keep listening, keep loving one of the greatest rock groups of all time. But we'll see exactly what the announcement is. Hopefully it'll be something exciting. Speaking of older bands, Paul McCartney joined the Foreign Legion. I was not familiar with what the Foreign Legion was. Apparently, it's France's highest honor, and he received it for services to music, which, okay, France. I mean, I don't think it really takes giving Paul McCartney their highest honor for us to recognize that he's had great services to music. But okay, I feel like at this point, everyone should just know that Paul McCartney is one of the greatest singer-songwriters, in one of the greatest bands of our time or of anyone's time. But he said that he commented that it's such an honor to be awarded this. And he said, I'm looking forward to being in the Foreign Legion and doing my stint in the desert if I understand my duties correctly. So apparently it just carries social status and it's just, being recognized in France. So I guess France is just finally catching Beatlemania. So that's exciting. But, Paul McCartney, he's still writing, he's still putting out stuff. So that's exciting in a way. I just think, there's certain rock stars now that we don't even need to acknowledge anymore that they're great because we just know that they are. But I always think it's funny when stuff like this comes up, Paul McCartney coming on the radar again. When I saw the headline, I was hoping, oh, he's doing something different or oh, he's playing another show. But, just getting the highest honor of France. So exciting for him. He can put it on his wall. I'm sure his wall is completely blank, not full of any sort of awards, but this will obviously be something he can add to his list of things that, he has accomplished. So Paul McCartney, congratulations. We're all excited for you here at Talkopolis. Keep doing what you're doing. MTV, however, should maybe not keep doing what they're doing. This article came out on the Daily Titan. They were talking about how MTV talks more tweet than music. I kind of feel like this is an old argument. It's just the fact that MTV is not really about music anymore. It is in a way, but it kind of is the dinosaur. There's a lot more sources. There's a lot of online media like Talkopolis or other shows that really have more of a fixture on what music is doing now. MTV is kind of late to the game. They still do award shows and they still show some music videos, but it's not really their primary focus. But they were just talking about the VMAs that were this past week. Everyone kind of has articles out about the VMAs and what the significance of them is and were they really important and are people really paying attention to this? Does this really garner any sort of appreciation? But they were just saying kind of a criticism just that MTV is still kind of counting the number of tweets that they have during their show more than they're really concerned about the awards. So, any award show these days is obviously not going to show every single award and they're not going to spend a lot of time on the music, but MTV is kind of just trying to do that whole making it more of a user-based show, which is really cool. But at the same time, it's just kind of, it doesn't really match, But I think that's the struggle with any sort of music TV show is trying to be involved with like a fan audience, but also trying to be live, but also trying to be relevant, but also trying to know what's happening. So nonetheless, I mean, I think the VMAs were were good in a way. I think they're always good in a way. That it's kind of cool to look back and see kind of what music was happening at that time. But definitely MTV, I mean, it's something to think about, kind of where they are in the musical scheme. And it's going to be cool to see, I think, if any of the newer networks, stuff like Fuse or, even MTV too, if any of that's going to take off and if people are going to really embrace that as a music channel. But we'll see. We'll see. Elvis's Bible sold for $94,000 at an auction. The other week we were talking about the fact that Elvis's Bible and soiled underwear, fun, went up for auction, and they were going to be up for auction. So Elvis's Bible actually sold for $94,000. So someone went home with that. It was his Bible that had notes from Priscilla inside of it, and so apparently that was really cool. I actually think that's really neat, to have some of Elvis's handwriting. Probably wouldn't have paid $94,000 for it. The best part of this article from Rolling Stone for me was the fact that his stained underwear, they actually ended up going for about $7,000 American dollars, but they didn't meet the reserve. That was about $11,000. So apparently they weren't as in demand as people thought they were going to be. I don't know who went home with them anyway. And I don't know how you display soiled underwear. I don't know if you put it in a frame. I don't know if you hang it. I don't know if you tell people that you have it. I'm not really sure. But apparently it didn't meet the reserve. But someone apparently made a killing because they went home with it for, only a mere $7,000. So way to go. Whoever got that at Graceland, I'm really proud of you. In a way, I am proud of you. But, if you wanted to have it, I'm sorry that someone else got it. But you never know. These things I feel like always are going to come back up for auction. There's always going to be something that a rock star's auctioning off that either the money is going to charity or the money is just going somewhere. So, if you have a favorite artist, just tweet us at Talkopolis. Let us know what you'd like them to auction off because we will do our best in making that happen. As long as it's not anything weird, guys. Please don't let it be anything weird. Too much. Luke Bryan, one of my favorite country singers, is actually going to headline the Capitol Street Party here in Nashville. Capitol Street Party is really cool. It happens on Lower Broadway between 1st and 2nd. It's free every year. They kind of just shut down the road. You just get to go. And free music is really cool in Nashville. It happens a lot, but it's really cool to see a bigger artist. I mean, even if it's label sponsored, just come down and do a free show. People always get excited about that. I know I'm excited about it. It's going to be October 17th. So hopefully, it'll be nice weather and it'll be downtown. It'll be very Nashville, so we can all be a part of that. But, he's really growing. He's really, really a big name now, so that's kind of exciting. It's definitely exciting for the label. He's also playing with Kaylee Bannon and John Party, and so it's going to be free, so we should all go to it. I just love supporting local music, even if he's not really local because he's kind of a national superstar now. It's still local because it's Nashville. It is. It definitely is. Taylor Swift, this past Friday, so last Friday, there was a Stand Up to Cancer benefit. That was this telethon that happened. And she actually debuted this song called Ronan. It was a ballad that she co-wrote with this kid. He had cancer. And his mom kept a blog on CaringBridge, which is kind of like it's I definitely know a website that people, when they have medical updates or if you go on CaringBridge, you're just going to be there for hours, basically just crying because it's people's different stories of everything they're going through. But so she had read this, she became familiar with it. And so his mom had kept the blog, so they kind of wrote the song together. It was really a sweet song. It's just anything I think that centers around any sort of cancer, just because it's so personal, anything that's kind of a tragedy like that, especially with a younger child, people really get behind. But the cool part about it is that her sales from the song are going to go towards the Taylor Swift Charitable Fund, which apparently is going to go towards cancer research, which is really cool. So I always think it's neat when people release songs for, another cause, whether it's a good song or not. This is actually really an awesome song. But it's cool to see the money going to that, even if, you never know if it's going to be 1 cent or whatever. But I always think it's cool to be able to buy music and see that money going somewhere. And just, it's always, I don't know, it's always interesting to see something like Taylor Swift co-writing a song with someone's mom. It just kind of puts her on, I guess, more of a human level. Not that she wasn't, but, just to see someone that is this celebrity that's kind of out there do something that's a little more close to home, I think is always neat. So if you want to listen to that, it's called Ronan. It's available on iTunes. It's available through her website. You can watch it on YouTube. Pretty cool idea. So more celebrities, more rock stars. You should come out with more songs for other people. But lastly, but not leastly, if you are even paying attention to the TV lineup at all, or if you're in Nashville at all, people have probably been asking you about the show Nashville, which is happening, obviously. And it's all people have pretty much been talking about. Apparently, it's gotten great reviews. Really awesome reviews. And I could talk about this pretty much every day on the show if I wanted to. The reason that I'm talking about it today is that there was finally a little blip about the fact that there's music on the show. You know, people have been talking about the fact that it's dramatic and it's all about the music industry, but I'm kind of interested to know, you know, if there's going to be people singing on the show, is it going to be good? I mean, is this going to turn into Glee where I'm kind of going to be like, what's happening? I don't even know. Are there storylines? Are they going to match? It'll be interesting. But I was reading on the Tennessean, and they said that if the storyline threatens to lag, there's music to pick it up, which ranges from, and I quote, traditional to crossover to a poetic blend of the best of both. I don't really know what that means. People use words like traditional and crossover, and that could mean a whole lot of things. I'm just hoping that it'll be entertaining. I love a good soundtrack. I'm hoping it'll be stuff we can sing along to. And if not, you know, hopefully stuff we can karaoke later, kind of making fun of, because what could be better than that? So Nashville is going to premiere on October 10th. Definitely, we'll keep you posted here. You know, the good, the bad, all of the wonderful about it. And hopefully we can just, you know, pop into some of the shots in the back as they're filming around town with a little Talkopolis banner. So if you see that, you know, I'm not saying I was responsible, but you're welcome, everyone. You're especially welcome, Nashville. And you're welcome for providing this lovely show today. If you like what you heard, if you didn't like what you heard, we want to hear from you regardless. Tweet us at Talkopolis. Send me an email, kelsey@talkopolis.com. I always love hearing from people about the show or, you know, about anything that's really concerning you. Maybe. Just, again, Elvis's underwear. There's a line, guys. There's a line. But have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll see you later.
Microcasting for your city. Talkopolis.